What if the unmentioned person is being tried for probation because he has mounting traffic violations? Violations which transpired due to self-destructive behavior, including minor drug and alcohol dependency. Or in the case of someone being tried for murder, how many convictions for murder have been false? The answer is very few people, and that depends on the complexity of the case. Like the saying goes, misery loves company. It's very common for murderers or other types of felons to associate with enabling people. I don't know what has Owens so fired up, that is, if he sincerely feels what lyrics he writes. His performance tells me otherwise. And the judge is thrilled. He's dressed to kill. What? Who? Dressed to kill? And don't preach to me of integrity or your illegal highs. I don't understand what he means by being preached integrity, and I don't know what illegal high is. That's awfully loaded terminology. Unless he's talking about unregulated drugs, which nobody in the legal system has ever done and gotten away with. And once again, an awkward, musically out-of-place bridge after the choruses. I've never heard anything that soft come from this band before. It doesn't fit the lyrical theme of the song, I must add. And it's at this point, I'm ready to never hear Tim's voice again. Look at the lyrics, for in between. I am love. I am hate. I'm an atheist with faith. Vent my anger with a smile. I'm polite or obscene. Either whisper, or I scream. I'm not quite what I seem. I'm somewhere, in between. Aside from these lyrics reading like a Dr. Seuss book, the glaring issue lies with the second line, reading. I am an atheist with faith. That's not how atheism works, screwball. It expands on the themes of previous songs like Hell is Home. So riddled in determinism, but without any clue of a tangible intention or a conceptual plot, or political idea. It's just listless boasting, as a rapper would do, like Jay-Z. Say right. Or say wrong. Outcast yet I belong. I'm high or I'm dry. Say I am weak. Yet I am strong. In between. In between. I am my alter ego. I am subconsciously in depth, but also shallow. Or somewhere in between. Holy shit, that's painful to read. It's nothing more than a pitter-patter of cliches that sounds like a Dr. Seuss poem. If not that, it reminds me of that one riddle game show on Arthur. It's so fucking last-minute sounding. There's more of those tough guy lyrics, including ones like I swim with sharks and I drown with rats. And that ridiculous ending doesn't fit what precedes it. Subterfuge uses Korn-style guitars in the first minute and a half before the typical groove metal overdrives. Why are they choosing to sound like Korn? To sell better? If they had continued this route, there would have been a few guest rappers on the subsequent release, which I subconsciously begin to shudder at the vague notion of. This brings us to what I refer to as the worst song on the album. Lost and Found may be one of the worst Judas Priest songs of all time. For starters, the musical direction. Baffling, in a bad sense. It's like Creed meets Kid Rock ballads, and blows the loads of the Hanson brothers. Just all of the lamest musical trends of the turn of the century have somehow landed on a Judas Priest album. Don't they know they have a sad Wings of Destiny, Sin After Sin, Stained Class and Painkiller reputation to uphold? Have they forgotten? They chose to add a synthetic drum machine rhythm in the second verse which is totally not appropriate for this band. If they are attempting to turn on newer listeners, how can that work? If they aren't listening to the classic Judas Priest now, writing the album in this style is a waste of their fucking time. The gate is just so dumb blonde, bag-horned and tone-deafly evil. It's like music made for an intermediary resolution chapter of a Lifetime movie. It sounds like an American Idol contestant's song from their debut album, after their season run had ended. After the completely lackluster and forgettable solo, they introduce harmony vocals in the chorus, suggesting that I, or other listeners are going to be singing along at a concert, as, oh I'm oblivious to this band's ballads and semi-ballads done proper, like Fever, Beyond the Realms of Death, Dreamer Deceiver, Before the Dawn, Night Comes Down and so on. This ballad, here is bullshit. Its character is completely reminiscent of former Judas Priest, but rather showcasing the taste of mainstream America. Very fit for a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie where the two get hit on simultaneously by some stupid asshat throwing a ball around. Or trekking through the Alps, or paragliding, or something. It's just the right Judas Priest song for all the airhead beach bums carrying surfboards. A total pander to light rock radio listeners and betrayal of their devout fans. Lost and Found. You're in the wrong band, bastard. On Cyberface, he sounds no holds bar comical. Tipton and Downing make use of more pedal effects which actually don't sound too bad. It would be better with more technical riffing and a better singer. How unfortunate that it took 11 songs of crap with the one previous liable to have had me shut my CD player off, for there to introduce a passable song for instrumental aspects. The last song contains some horrendous use of trendy guitar licking, akin to Hanson. The beginning of the song sounds like a fourth-rate version of Painkiller, to which I scoff like Miss Crawbottle. The last minute contains a very bad immigrant song imitation. It ends on such an anticlimactic note. Hearing Owens chiming one more time before the disc wound off made me think, no, 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 that's not how you end a song, or an album. Not like that. And so these are the worst Judas Priest songs and one of the worst metal albums of the early 2000s. If I had been a long-time fan back in 2001, I'd be even fucking madder than I am now. It's that terrible. This is Judas Priest, for the ignorant and suspecting cheerleader preps at school who buy whatever they think is going to sound cool without properly analyzing the CD case or getting background info in the artist. It sounds like the quote-unquote Christian heavy metal rock and roll coming from the stereo in the one breakdancing girl's room in Jesus Camp. Once again, there is no feeling with it. Tim Owens is a horrendous vocalist and musician, generally speaking. I mean, did he not remember what the band did 12 albums prior to his enrollment with this band? He seems to harness no shame whatsoever. They should have listened to what a band said. Put down the video games, and get to work on what Judas Priest has done best. It's not necessary to have an album that's interchangeably a PlayStation 2 or Xbox OS key in the Judas Priest repertoire. It's just an eyesore. A lot of the songs on here sound fitting for a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, which is logical since their last few movies came out in the two successive years too, when this album was released. The guitar work is lackluster and doesn't transcend off the mastery showcased from when Rob Halford was first in the band. There are no riffs which have so much as become an earworm after having heard this album for over 4 years. None of the solos even feel noticeable on here or on Jugulator. Clearly, the chosen style on here doesn't suit KK Downing and Glenn Tipton very well. The mixing of the drums sound like they were done by a theater nerd in high school. The cymbals sound terrible. And, of course, Tim Ripper Owens. He's a terrible musician. If Judas Priest were a 90s Hollywood movie, Tim Owens would be the villain who appears in the last 30 minutes, in order to give the viewer a sense that all hope is lost for the protagonists. Way too comical. He doesn't even look the part for the band. Just look at this picture. He looks like the one witch in Hocus Pocus. And it looks like he's smiling, too. Why is he smiling? And to think whose homes this album was going into at that time back in 2001. Holy fuck. To think what kinds of people were introducing themselves to the band with this crap. I can just imagine on the fence upper middle class and lower upper class families with teenage girls going to wherever there's a cooler in their house, probably in 5 or 6 different rooms altogether, the kitchen, garage, bedroom, basement, living room, office suite. They are going in, arms, lips, and eye gazes slung dead over their casual gait, coalescing on this bullcrap being their idea of Judas Priest. Affluence almost blinding their judgment. It gives such a bad impression to new or once indifferent audience members of who they are as a band. And while I do consider their two most commercially well-received songs, Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight, to be the blandest moments in their repertoire, those songs much more appropriately represent the band. So overall, Jugulator and Demolition are the worst Judas Priest albums ever created. Yes, albums like Point of Entry, Turbo, and Ram It Down are loaded with pop music garbage, but at least Rob Halford's vocal performance didn't falter at those points in the band's career, not even slightly, which is very telling for how exemplary a singer he is. Despite what the 4 instrumentalists were playing on those albums, they performed exceptionally, as well. If you do decide to listen to this album, longtime fan of Judas Priest, or new fan, you must rinse your ear canals out with hydrogen peroxide after listening to it. Until next time, Demolition is a pure pile of dog shit.
I never used to walk along the
My favorite music is like Christian heavy metal, rock and roll.